I was about to end the video, but then I forgot to show you guys the sound this makes when you turn it on. Just listen up. That's just so badass. What's going on, guys? Chris here. Welcome back to another video. And if you want to learn more about camera gear, photography, videography, and all that stuff, definitely check out my YouTube channel because I have a lot of good information there. So in this video, we're talking about the DJI Mini 3 Pro versus the DJI FPV. And then towards the end of this video, I'm going to talk about the FPV industry in general and whether I think you should get into it or not. I recently brought both drones to Switzerland, so let's look at the footage. All right, hopefully those shots give you an idea of what you can get with both of these drones, but now let's just talk about the pros and cons of each. First, I'm gonna start with the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Now, if you want an in-depth review of this drone, check out the video above and it has all the information. But just to go over the features, it shoots a very high quality 4K, very high quality photos, I think 48 megapixels. It has almost 30 minutes of battery life per battery, and I have 3 because having only one drone battery is very difficult. And if you get it with the RC remote, which I highly recommend, you get this beautiful bright screen, which makes it extremely easy to fly, and it's great because you don't need to use your phone. I hate flying drones with my phone because it burns the battery of my phone and you get notifications and it's just buggy sometimes. I just don't like that process. The fact that I can fly this entire setup without my phone is very nice. Also, the camera does rotate 90 degrees or in vertical format in case you want vertical video, which seems to be what's doing well on social media right now. It doesn't go extremely fast, but it flies very well, very smoothly. The shots always come out extremely cinematic, even in sports mode. It has front sensors, back sensors, and bottom sensors, so it's actually quite difficult to crash. It's under 250 grams, so it's a little bit easier to fly around in more restricted areas, and it also just doesn't take up too much space in my bag, which I really love. So in most case scenarios, when I'm going to travel, I take the DJI Mini 3 Pro. Now let's talk about the DJI FPV. Now, the only thing I really like about this setup is the type of footage you could get. For those of you who don't know, an FPV drone is basically a drone where you have full manual control over the direction, the speed, and almost any characteristic of the drone when in flight. How it works is you put these goggles on and you basically see the point of view of the front camera here, and you basically fly around like that. Now, honestly, the type of footage you can get with an FPV drone is unmatched. There really isn't any camera system in the entire industry that can recreate shots that an FPV drone can. This drone goes 140 kilometers an hour, and I think I went a little bit faster. You're able to go extreme speeds and chase vehicles and just get angles that are impossible in any other way. And that's the main selling point of going with a drone like this. Yes, it does have sensors, but the sensors won't work when you're in FPV mode. And when paired with a GoPro like this is the GoPro Hero 10 Black, you get amazing 5K video. And that's pretty much it in terms of pros for using a DJI FPV. So you can pretty much tell if you're just getting into drones, I would definitely advise getting the Mini 3 Pro. You get extremely cinematic shots with it and you're probably not gonna crash. Now let's talk about comparing the two. Yeah, the battery life on the Mini 3 Pro we said is around 30 minutes. When you're in FPV mode on this drone, the battery life is about 10 minutes. So you really need to know how to fly and get the shots you need while you have battery. The built-in camera on the Mini 3 Pro is amazing. Very high quality 4K, very high quality photos, and it shoots in D-Log, so you get 10-bit log video that you can easily color grade. The camera on the DJI FPV isn't that great, and I didn't even bother using it. I saw a lot of video online of people using it, and it doesn't even come close to the image quality or stabilization of mounting a GoPro to it. The issue I did have with the GoPro, and it actually ruined a lot of the footage I shot, was the mount I purchased for it, which for some reason had amazing reviews, didn't work that well, and a lot of the footage was ruined by vibrations. I've since purchased a proper GoPro mount mount, but do keep in mind you want to get the correct GoPro mount. I'll link it down below if you want to use a GoPro on the Dji FPV, which I highly recommend. The next thing is the ease of use. This is extremely easy. You plug a battery in, you boot it up, you turn the remote controller on, and by the time both things have turned on, it's already paired and you can start flying. But with this drone, you actually have to turn the drone on, which actually I recommend doing that as the last step because it'll burn the battery very quickly. You have to turn the GoPro on, put on the proper ND filters based on the exposure around you, turn on the goggles by plugging them through a cable into an external battery, and then turn the remote controller on, and then get your phone, connect it to the FPV goggles, and then start the whole pairing process through there. The pairing process can take up to 2-3 minutes, which is kind of annoying. And then you have to not forget to press record on the GoPro before you send it up into the air. And then once you're in the air, you can have a lot of fun. The nice thing about this drone though is that you can fly it in a normal or sport mode, similar to the Mini 3 Pro. So you can use that to get your drone to where you want to shoot, and then you can put it into manual modes to start doing the crazy flying. Also, another great feature about this drone is if you're in manual mode or FPV mode and you're about to crash, you can tap this button right here, which is a pause button, which will just stop the drone wherever it is and put it in normal mode. Now, when I brought it to Switzerland, it was actually the first time I'd ever flown FPV. I had done the simulation a little bit and I had practiced with some simulation apps on my phone, but I'd never actually done it. So I was very scared on pushing the limits of the drone because I definitely didn't want to crash it. But after the experience of flying this drone, I've decided I really want to get into FPV because if you get skilled at this, you can get the most unique and amazing shots. So now I kind of want to talk about whether I recommend you get into FPV or not. If you've made up your mind already about going with the Mini 3 Pro, I will agree with you. As a drone, you're really not missing any features with this. It has features like active track for beginners, and it can go all the way to very cinematic modes. But if you want to invest a little bit more time to practice and a GoPro to get higher quality video, the FPV drone can get shots that this drone could not even dream of. So should you get into FPV drone? I definitely recommend try simulations before going out and buying this drone, whether it's on a mobile app or you get the designated DJI app, which actually I found the DJI app was very realistic in recreating the feel of flying the drone. I definitely recommend trying simulations before going out and purchasing this because if you crash this, that's $1,000 that's gone. And I know a lot of people have, especially on their first flight. I luckily haven't. And I think that's actually come from the fact that I've had a lot of time and experience gaming. I know that sounds kind of ridiculous. Using controllers like this feel a lot like the PlayStation or Xbox controllers, and I've played multiple games in my youth that give off that first person view feel. So yeah, I luckily didn't crash it, and hopefully that doesn't ever happen. I personally know professional FPV drone pilots who crash their FPV drones all the time because you always want to push the limit. Now the industry is shifting a little bit towards FPV as more and more people learn this skill. I saw Peter Lindgren just post his video about using the DJI Avata, which is DJI's other FPV drone, and I see a lot of creators just going into FPV because it is the new thing. I'm not gonna lie, the traditional drone shots you get with this are getting a little repetitive and getting a little boring, especially when you see the same drone shots in the exact same places around the world. So if you're willing to learn the skill, I would recommend FPV because A, it's a skill you're gonna have. If you can fly this, you can definitely fly that. I don't remember who it was, but there was this director who recently just hired a kid, I think, to shoot FPV footage for his upcoming film. It is definitely a growing industry and you can see a lot of creators are going to learn it. I think it's still very new. I think a lot of people are still very scared to get into it because they see all the people crash. So if you have the time and energy to learn it, go with the FPV. If you're just looking for a drone that can get you good cinematic quality, great cinematic quality actually, go with the Mini 3 Pro. Hopefully this video was helpful for you, and I'll have links to all the products we talked about today in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.